To stretch your calves, I like to use a slant board like this. Not so many people have access to one, so if you don't, I have some other options I will go through briefly. But I'm going to demonstrate on the slant board first because it's my favorite. I like this for a calf stretch because it allows for the entirety of your foot to rest on the surface itself rather than, say, I'll demonstrate that in a second. So if I'm targeting my right leg, I can either do just that one, lock through that right knee, push my hips forward, and I might even come forward with this other foot. You might even have like another block or something in front that you can step forward onto, almost as if you're taking like a step forward. I like to do this and target one leg individually. Then you can really appreciate the differences between how tight your calves are right versus left. So again, I like this because I'm stretching the backside of my leg while keeping full contact of my foot with the surface, which really replicates our need for calf flexibility when we're walking on things like an incline. So again, we'll do that on both sides. You certainly can do both at once. Again, my personal preference is to do one at a time. I think I get a little more targeted mobility that way, more specific to the needs of that leg. But if you're short on time, you can always do just 2 feet. So standing on the slant board for the indicated amount of time, one leg at a time. Now, no slant board, no problem. A really cheap, easy, and lightweight solution. Just because a slant board can be heavy, doesn't travel well, it takes up more space, and it's a little pricier. A half foam roll, this is like 12 inches long, I think, works beautifully. And it works for so many other things too. It's kind of nice to have, I have to say. So you can certainly go to Amazon and snag one of those. If I use that, now my entire foot's not really going to be in contact with the surface, but it's close. So I can still put heel on the ground, toes and forefoot on the foam. From here, I can just take that other leg, so in this case, my right, step forward. Ooh, and that's pretty darn tight right there. Like for me, that's tough to hold. Some of you might even be here. You might even be here. Whatever intensity feels good for that leg. And again, you'll target both sides. So now I'll do my right. I got my heel down, my knee straight, bring my hips forward as far as I can, and I can move this other leg to adjust accordingly. Hold for the indicated amount of time. I like this a little bit better than, say, putting your foot against the floor and up against a wall, because it doesn't replicate the same. It's a little more exaggerated for one, but it just doesn't allow for that full foot contact, so we don't get the benefits of the rest of the foot stabilizing. So we feel more stable, which will allow us to go further. So I think you kind of fight yourself when you're doing something like dropping your heel off the edge of a stair or doing something like that. Third version that you can use is all you need is a dumbbell. In this case, I have a 12-pound dumbbell. Doesn't really matter the weight, but it should probably be more than 10. So I guess it does matter. 5 pounds honestly would probably be fine. 3 pounds might be okay. 1 pound might even, but depends how much pressure you're putting down. And also you got to consider whatever surface or textbook you're using. Now, if you have a piece of plywood sitting around, grab that. That makes sense. I have a textbook. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to place it against the dumbbell. Now, I have 2 options. I think it's a little nicer in a textbook if I don't put my full foot on it. So I can just go heel the rest of my forefoot and come forward. So again, my heel is on the floor. The rest of my foot is resting against the book. It's just preserving the book a little bit, but I'm definitely twisting that. At the very least, this version done once gives you the taste of what it feels like. And then I do believe that you'll want to go to one of these 2 if this is something you're working with, unless you have something that's more sturdy than this textbook that I have. So give that a shot. Hold for the indicated amount of time. Have fun.